today is all about light painting photography and my journey with it. I'll start with some visuals. Also, if you remember the previous photo, it was not Photoshop. I did it live in front of you. So all my work is not Photoshop. Everything is created in camera. Netflix and chill, and this is not fire. It is just the movement of light, the kind of movement we do and how camera customs it, it comes out like this. So these are some examples of light painting photography. To explain it in a very layman term, light painting photography is done in dark environment, and any kind of light movement that you do is recorded inside camera. All right. So black conceals and white reveals. So let's say I'm doing this kind of movement. So camera will only notice this, the yellow light coming out from the torch. So how did I start? Back in 2013-14, I saw an image which said ki this is not Photoshop, and I was working for a startup. I had to create some visuals. So the idea was to create something different. So that WG is written with hand, and this was created, the smiley, that was created using simple LED light. So this is very layman, this is how we started. Then we started doing complex structures. If you see, all these three images are created using this simple tool. That's bicycle tire and LEDs. So this is what got my curiosity, ki what are the possibilities with it. And I was pursuing engineering by then, and I had an IT background. So I was quite like, I was not happy with it, ki theek hai, I didn't want to go into coding. I was not happy with it. So this is a journey that I started on. So if you see the image of Hawa Mahal, if you go to Google and search about Hawa Mahal, you will see the same image of Hawa Mahal 140 or 150 times. This is a problem I face with photography, or feel ki, that photography is quite saturated. The same visuals keep appearing again and again. So usually in Jaipur, we have some groups, Jaipur Photography Club and all. So they have photo walks on Sunday. And they had a similar walk at Hawa Mahal. And I saw around 50-60 photographers clicking Hawa Mahal at the same angle. So I thought, ki nahi, ye nahi karna hai. I need to do something different. I'm not going to do the same thing again and again and expect the same result. The definition of insanity. So therefore I chose light painting. This is an image of old stepwell in Jodhpur, and this is behind the scene. So it can make very unlively. This is behind the scene, and this is just after doing the light painting. And the best part is you don't have to depend on the scene. This is a problem we face, ki if we are going somewhere and the light is not proper or the subject is not there, we cannot photograph it properly. But with light painting, you don't have to depend on anyone else. You can control the whole scene the way you want. This is an old temple in Udaipur, so it looked quite haunted. So I thought, ki let's draw something, and the left one, then the middle one, and the right one. The middle structure is called an orb. The three-dimensional structure, it's called an orb. I'll come back to that again. This was captured in Jaisalmer. So light painting is all, like, it's not on sunshine and rainbows. Just after coming back from this, can you see the trail on the right side? The right image, the trail, and on the topmost corner, can you spot the snake? It's Russell pit viper, one of the big five. It was just below my leg while coming back, and it was completely dark. So we have to be very aware of our surroundings. As I was talking about, it gives you the power to control the whole scene. This is a visual I had in mind from, like, when I was a child, we used to have Justice League cartoon on Cartoon Network, and the end credits used to have something like this. So it was in my subconscious to create something like this, and I created it later in 2018. So as an artist, I felt really powerful कि I can control everything inside camera, and I can do it the way I want. After 2013, I started experimenting. A few of my friends joined who were like-minded. So not a lot of people were doing it in India back in 2013-15. So a friend from Coimbatore, a friend from Ambala, we a group of 5 people joined hands. So we thought, there was a previous Guinness World Record for 200 light orbs. Previously, I showed an image of a light orb. There were 9 US photographers that made a Guinness World Record for 200 light orbs. We thought, let's do something for India. Let's try that crazy thing that we had in mind कि हाँ ठीक है कुछ अलग करना है कुछ नया करके देखते हैं. So this is the certificate, and just like Mr. Neeraj was saying कि to do something useful with the education we have, that was in, so the engineering background helped me to create the tools, and we basically changed the way the orb was created. Earlier there used to be a string, and we had in mind to create a big record, so we broke it by 900 orbs. So to create it, we had to close down the size of the orb. So we created our own tool, and it was a completely restructured. This is the image of 900 light orbs that broke the record, and it is actually quite it is taken from a certain height. Therefore, you can see the 900 light orbs. 2016, the major breakthrough came when I met my wife. We joined hands and started creating visuals like this. So that was a major creative breakthrough I had, having a partner that supports me. Then came the light painting TVC. It was the first TV commercial in India. First light painting TV commercial in India. We had a call from, it was quite a big creative company. They called us, they took the quotation and all. They said, you have to come to Mumbai and there'll be a studio. We thought, okay, it will be a small studio. But what happened was, a day before he said, let's go and visit the studio. Director is inside. We'll just do the Reiki and come out. So when we went inside, I saw Amitabh Bachchan sitting there, and Kaun Banega Crorepati was being shot in that same studio. So I was like this to my partner and told him, bro, what is this happening? I thought this was a small project. He said, even I was not aware. So we were completely thrilled ki what was just in front of us, and next day the whole studio was ours, and we had to create something like this. This was one of the most challenging projects we did. We were associated with a lot of companies later on, but this is one of the most challenging project. So, has anyone heard about Dadar Beach? Dadar Beach in Bombay. Okay, a lot of you. So Dadar Beach they were doing a beach cleanup. Mumbai government was doing a beach cleanup, and they wanted to make it look good at night for some social reasons. So they asked us, we'll do the beach cleanup. You have to do live light painting. And what we'll do, we'll give you the waste, and you have to reduce, reuse, and recycle, and do it live in front of the audience. So we said, it's okay, but we usually do it in a controlled environment where everything is dark. They said, you guys are expert, you will handle it. We'll give you the tools in morning. By the night, you have to create them and do light painting with it. You cannot use your own tools. So the beach looked something like this. The other beach looked something like this. And they gave us the opportunity to create something like, okay, the images are not, but you get the gist of it. So it was on Earth Day, and now if someone asks me how did we use the plastic and all, this is a basic soap bubble maker. Now it looks really amazing. So we use tools like this, Mountain Dew bottle, anything that we can get our hands on. So this is what it looked like. So the day and night that we call. So this was in January, and just after completing that, the inevitable came. The microscopic image of COVID. Can you guys relate to it? Just by looking at. So this was also created in using light painting. So again, the thing, what is in your mind, you can create it without depending on anyone else. And one more advantage I felt while the COVID, we were stuck by COVID. So all of my photography friends were stuck inside homes. The, the wildlife photographers, the street photographers, they couldn't go out and click. And I was creating images like this. I was not dependent on outside circumstances. I had COVID 3 times. But fortunately, it changed my life. I started seeing the life differently. I was very close to death, and I realized I have to live it fully. So earlier I was doing photography at night. Then I realized that I used to go at locations like these, where you could see Milky Way with just your eyes, and you could click something like this, completely raw locations. So I started enjoying wildlife. I realized these locations are, since raw in nature, as beautiful as they are in night, they are beautiful at morning as well. So the same place in morning has something like this. This is the peregrine falcon, one of the fastest bird in world. It can dive at a speed of 390 kilometers per hour. And this is just 90 kilometers to Jaipur. And both of these photos are clicked at the same place. So I realized that everything is beautiful around us, and I started enjoying it more. Same place, day and night. It just improved the way I looked at the life. So one of the challenge I face, not everyone understand what I do. So if someone asks what exactly is light painting, if he's not associated to photography, I tell them it's an art, just try to enjoy it. Don't try to understand it. Then comes authorities. Authorities are really tough to understand what we are doing and the kind of tools we use. So these tools are handmade. I make them myself. So in projects when I have to go somewhere, let's say I'm at airport and they look at something like this, they're like, it's a bomb. We cannot allow you to use this. So I had to improvise. I ship it before going. Or I've stopped explaining to people what I do. I just show them my work. Okay, this is my work. And I can explain you what exactly it is, but if you can enjoy it, this is what it is. I know not everyone is a photographer or has an interest in photography, but I think creativity is something that unites everyone. We all want to be creative in our own way. And somewhere around, I can resonate with it. Some takeaway points from my journey. Skills are much greater than the camera gear or the tools you have. A lot of young photographers think if we have a expensive gear, we'll be able to create much better results. But this is not the case. The results depend on what kind of skills do you have. Be curious, keep learning, it keeps you grounded. When we broke the Guinness World Record, a lot of people came, they said, now you have become a celeb and all that stuff. But I personally feel I'm a student of life. Once I'm there, I'm again a student. I'll try to learn from everyone. And it keeps me grounded and keeps me moving. So the same advice goes for the young minds as well. Please be grounded and keep learning. Not just academics. Even if you finish your education, you should keep on learning. Networking makes a big difference. human connection opens the doors that nothing can open. I personally believe that. And as an introvert, I have realized this quite late. Even your academics or your intellectual cannot open the doors that human connection can open. So please try to network a lot, network with people around you. This goes for all the artists. Followers are your worst critic. I'm sure you have seen this on Instagram. A blurry photo gets thousands of likes and all that kind of stuff. So followers are your worst critic. People around you or your teachers are the best critic. Please don't go on Instagram and put and look for criticism. They won't criticize you. And creativity should not be suppressed. When I look back and I think if I went with my engineering and persuaded the degree and went on to become a coder or a programmer, and I would have suppressed this creativity or the light painting journey I had. So I won't be here and talking or spreading my idea with you guys. So no education goes to waste, but creativity is as useful as Ken Robinson said on a TED talk. He said ki creativity should be as equally divided as the academics we have. So please be creative. Please keep it on an equal ground. Thank you. May the light be with you.